Hi, I'm Scott Humphrey, CEO of the World Floor Covering Association. Thank you for joining me for this episode of Leadership Live. Great leaders would tell you that some of the best lessons they've learned in their lives have come from epic failures. Today, I want to share with you one of those failures that was a failure then, but has impacted me in a positive way ever since. I grew up in North Georgia in this community in the flooring industry, moved away my freshman year of high school, went to college in Nashville, Tennessee, but often during the summers of college, I would come back and work at the church that I grew up in. I was the summer youth intern. And my first trip back, I met a gentleman I had not known when I was here. His name was Greg Pelham, and we became lifelong friends. Thankfully, he forgave me for the experience I'm about to share with you. But Greg would come by and talk to me every day. Greg knew everything there was to know about Elvis Presley, and I was fascinated with Greg. He could be a little bit socially awkward sometimes, and some people avoided him, but we really hit it off, and as I said, became lifelong friends. About 3 o'clock every day, Greg would come by my office, and we would chat. We'd talk about things that mattered, things that didn't matter. We just chatted. I noticed that I enjoyed those times, except when I had something that I had to do. If it became a bit of a distraction for Greg to come in, I would almost dread those times. And on one particular day, I was working on the rooming assignments for our youth camp, and we had about 150 young people going to youth camp that year. I knew them all, and so I wanted them to be happy with me, and this was really weighing on me. I woke up that morning and formulated a plan that when Greg came in at 3 o'clock, which he always did, I would keep my head down and continue to work, and he would get the hint, and he would leave and come back at another time. Sure enough, at 3 o'clock that day, I felt him come into the room. I kept my head down for the appropriate amount of time. But when I looked up, Greg was still there. And I simply looked at him and I said, Greg, listen, I'm busy today. I don't have time. If you don't mind, just come on back another time. And I went back to work. He didn't have to tell me I hurt his feelings. His whole countenance changed. And in his mind, he felt like a friend he could always count on had just said, you don't matter to me today. Again, thankfully, he forgave me for this. He left. I went back to work. I never got the hint. Ron Moore, an awesome friend and mentor in my life who's had a phenomenal impact on me, came over. He was a youth minister, and he knocked on the door, and he said, Scott, have you got a few minutes? I said, sure, Ron. Come on in. And Ron comes and stands in front of my desk, and I said, what can I do for you? He said, I was just wondering how it is that you have time for me, but you didn't have time for Greg. Man, you could hit me with a ton of bricks. It just never crossed my mind the message that I had sent to Greg. But what Ron said next to me has impacted my life from that day forward. He said, people are always more important than programs and processes. I'd love to tell you I've always lived by that. I haven't. But when I fail, I hear that voice in my head telling me, refocus on the people. Listen, when we come out of this forced isolation of the coronavirus, your natural tendency as a leader will be to pour yourself into your business, feeling like the more you do, the greater the opportunity for success. I want to share 3 things with you that will make your opportunity for success even greater. Number 1, put people first. If you succeed, when you succeed, it will be because of the people that you have poured yourself into. Secondly, let those people know that you care about them as people, not for what they do for you, but because of who they are. The old statement says that people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. Finally, I remind you, without followers, you're not a leader. Your success will be about the people that you've empowered around you and helping them understand your vision for where you're going to be on the backside of the coronavirus. Listen, Zig Ziglar said it about as well as anybody. He said you can have anything in life you want if you just help enough other people get what they want. Let's do that. Now go out there and lead.